Yo, what is good? Soldier Only here. Welcome to the Walking Dead podcast, Talking Decay.
With the one and only Fuchsia.
Welcome to this week's episode. We are back. We actually missed last week, so we actually have 2 episodes to go over on this week's episode really quick.
Which actually kind of works out compared to what last night's episode was. I mean, it was good. Nice catching up on Tara, but...
Yeah,
what's going on with Negan?
Yeah, we didn't even realize that Tara had kind of been gone for a while. Like,
I know. When all this is going on, because then Tara comes into the picture and it's like, wait a minute. Wait, what? Where did she...
Yeah, when we saw the, it was like the sneak preview from, it was last week, but it was the sneak preview for last night's episode, and it was Tara, like, washed up on the ocean, and we're like, wait a minute, where the hell is she? Like, wait a minute, where's she been? But,
And that's exactly what, it was good to see her again, and it was a really good episode.
Well, first we need to get into the one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the one, it was all at the hilltop with Maggie and Sasha.
Mm-hmm. And Eden came and didn't rat on little Carl.
Carl, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, because now we have Carl and Jesus in a truck on their way to Negan's compound.
And Negan, well, yeah, and then the preview that we saw for last night with Jesus telling Carl it's easier to just roll with it, get out when we're in their blind spot and follow the rest of the way. And it's a damn good thing Jesus is in that truck with Carl, because I think Carl's dumbass would probably just stay in there until they're unpacking and then boom,
Well, remember, like, I honestly think that Carl doesn't really give a shit if he lives or dies kind of at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember when Enid was trying to get him to stay, she was like, you don't even care if, like if you don't make it back, like just as long as, you just want to kill him, and then after that, you don't care what happens. And then Carl's response to that was, he can't get away with this.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So he honestly, like, he just wants...
I loved Maggie at the end, though. Oh, God, I loved Maggie. We live here now. You're gonna call me by my name. Not
honey, not dear.
Not Marsha.
Not Marsha. Maggie
Ree.
Maggie Ree.
And I loved
so
when he
good.
tried to give him up. And Jesus is looking all scared and worried, like, I can't believe you're gonna do this. And then he opens the door and he gives up his own liquor. And it's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
in your face.
And that look that Jesus is giving him is just like, you freaking coward.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then especially once he gets into the room where they come out of the closet and he's like, I told you this is it. And it's like, yeah, well, don't you know they would have killed you first?
Yeah.
Like, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I like that he's slowly not becoming in charge of the hilltop, but it really leaves me wondering, because you know who we haven't seen in a while? Carol. And King Ezekiel.
Oh, yeah, she's in that house living right outside, what is it? What does King Ezekiel call his place? The Kingdom, yeah, duh. Yeah, the Kingdom, sorry. Yeah, so, yeah, she's living just right there. I think, like I said before, after that episode, I don't know if there's going to be kind of a romantic thing going between those two, like...
I don't know, but then you also got to think there was a romantic thing with her and Daryl.
Yeah, and Carol and Daryl. Yeah, there's been that whole thing going on between between the fan base. But.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. And it was interesting to see in the episode last night where they're like, okay, yeah, we'll let somebody go with you. And Tara still thinks that they beat everybody at the satellite, yeah, where Tara thinks they beat everybody at the satellite and has no idea what's really gone on for the past however long. 2 weeks is what they were saying in their time.
But... Well, yeah, in their time it's 2 weeks, but during Talking Dead, Alana Masterson said it had been 9 episodes since she had been in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite a while. It's been a long time.
But it was interesting how the ladies knew that she doesn't know what she's talking about. Obviously, she didn't know what she was talking about when she was saying she worked on a boat, but they've dealt with the Saviors and they were lucky enough to get away, that they knew it was so much more than what just the satellite
than what she was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I was really confused though when she's like, "Oh, I got it," and she goes to kill the walker, but you notice as she walks up to him, she realizes that one's stuck in the bush. It doesn't even have legs. It's just a body stuck in the bush. And that's when she's like, "Oh shit, they're gonna kill me," and starts running.
Well, what was weird, remember, because she was in front, and that Kathy, I think was her name or whatever, that other lady just pulled the knife out.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, Tara like looks back at her like, I think that was her first inkling that like something's not right here.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting episode because what was that community called? The Oceansiders?
Mm-hmm.
Oceanside?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I told you last night after the episode, it was interesting seeing them because it can kind of be a prophetic thing, as like this is what can be the future of your group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all the guys gone, you know, because Negan's group, the Saviors, took out every single male in their group.
Not every single one. They took out all the ones older than 10.
Older than 10, yeah. They said every man and boy over the age of 10, right?
Yeah. I'm really glad that she didn't give up Oceanside to Rosita so quick, because
I'm kind of glad she didn't either,
but you could tell she hesitated. She wanted to, but she looked at that bracelet and knew damn well she could have been dead by now if it wasn't for her. You know, she can't just betray someone so quick.
It was really heartbreaking because when she was at the Oceansiders, you know, she was saying all this stuff like, you know, that they had, you know, walls in this community and all that, and she really has no idea the shitstorm that the group is in now.
Oh, no.
And it was heartbreaking when she made it back to Alexandria, and, you know, she finds out that her girlfriend Denise is dead.
And that happened so long ago.
Yeah, and you gotta figure she also doesn't know exactly how savage the Saviors are. Mm-hmm. All she knows is that they're these assholes that she thought they took out at the satellite. But she makes it back home, or actually the first inkling she gets is she hears from Beatrice, because Beatrice is like, she's the one that tells her, you know, they killed every man and boy, lined them up and just shot them all in the head. Mm-hmm. So that's her first time really hearing like how messed up they are. And then she makes it back home, and she hears, you know, yeah, like I said, Denise is dead, Abraham and Glenn. That's what's so savage about the beginning of this season. Those are two big characters that Negan took out. Abraham and Glenn.
The way that they made it Daryl's fault that Glenn died, you know, because he was just going to do one, but he can't stand for that shit. You know,
they're playing it up that, yeah, Glenn wouldn't have died if it wasn't for Daryl.
But I think the key point they're trying to do in that action is, oh, everybody loves Daryl Dixon. Daryl this, Daryl that. Let's make him not such a lovable character anymore.
If they ever, I mean, obviously they will kill Daryl off at one point eventually.
They'll kill everybody off at one point.
But the thing is like, once that time comes, you got to figure that they would have to make him kind of a hated character. Just to make it better, you know, because if he's at the status that he's at now, you know, this really lovable character, and then
they
kill him off, you got to figure their viewer base would drop off a lot.
It's kind of like the whole scenario of reading a book and seeing the movie come out, and then you go to see the movie and it's just complete, like, you just don't even finish reading the book. Yeah. Like, you know, it's just two things. So they want to make sure the fan base and everything's on the same side, and that's honestly why I think they're going with the whole Daryl thing, because if it wasn't for Daryl doing that,
and I kind of have a feeling we are going to lose someone from the group again before this season's out, whether whether it's up to, because we actually have 2 episodes left of this mid-season. Mm-hmm. So whether we lose them in these next 2 episodes or by the end of the year. And I don't know if I want to say that it's going to be like a really big character, maybe like a Carol or Carl or something like that, but
I don't think,
or maybe even Daryl, but I don't know. I don't think it could be anyone big. I could see us losing someone like Tara or, you know, something like that.
I really don't think they'll kill Carl off, because how much has Carl really gone through? He's lost an eye. He's been shot. He's been almost dead a few times.
That little bastard's been shot twice already, yeah.
Yeah, and he's still alive. So, I find it really hard to believe when they killed Carl off. Like, I just don't see it.
And from what what I have read in the comics, like, he's a monster in the comics.
What is the name of the guy that was with Tara?
Heath.
Yeah. Where is he?
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah, what happened to him?
He took off with the motorhome. Where did he go? Obviously, he didn't go back to Alexandria.
See, and that's what's weird. When I didn't think about this until now. When Tara made it back to Alexandria, granted, yeah, she had a lot to learn and stuff, but it's not like, hey, where's Heath? Yeah. She didn't say anything about him, like, oh, we got separated on the bridge, yada yada.
That's right. Nobody really asked.
Granted, she had a lot to process. It was really heartbreaking because she was all strutting her stuff. She was stoked to be back home, see her girlfriend. She had her pink shades on.
Yeah.
And then the gate opens and she sees Eugene with a beaten up face, still crying, like...
Just... and even...
I feel bad for Eugene because he lost Abraham. A lot of people haven't been talking about that. That's bad. Like, because Abraham saved his life.
Abraham almost killed him.
Eugene saved Abraham's life, too. More than Abraham saved his, if you think about it. Because remember in that flashback episode, Abraham's backstory episode?
Where you see...
He was literally going to kill himself. And Eugene stopped him.
Yeah, and was like, I stereotyped this man. I know what he needs. I'm going to tell him all these lies. And that's got Abraham so high-strung on, there's a cure, we're going to go find it.
Well, he's a military man, so that was the mission. He finally had a purpose, because he was at the bottom of the barrel, he was literally going to kill himself.
And that's what he saw was that he needed a mission, he needed something to do.
And that's what Eugene saw. When he saw him about to kill himself, Eugene, maybe he could tell he was a military man too, because I think he had the dog tags out. So he gave him a purpose, he gave him a mission, he gave him a reason to live, and...
They really helped each other.
It's really heartbreaking actually seeing Eugene now and
what's
seeing him
even
deal with
harder
it.
Is when Glenn and Abraham got knocked out by Lucille, the bullet necklace that was given to Sasha in memory of Abraham was made by Rosita.
Yeah.
Irony at it.
I'm kind of glad though that Sasha and Rosita have kind of they've bonded over, they both love this guy.
I can't believe how savage he was when I met you. I thought you were the last woman on Earth, and that was cold. So savage. So I was taken back. I was like, "Oh my God, you did not!" Yeah, and it was. I'm
gonna miss Abraham's little quirks and quotes, and he was funny. He was.
Yes.
Well, what did they say? What did they say actually in that episode? Abraham is the only guy I've ever met that can make you smile. He can say something and make you smile and wince at the same time.
And that was Jesus who said it. Because that was
Jesus that said it. Yeah, that's right.
That was his only way he could condole Maggie and Sasha. He was the only man that would put a smile on your face and make you wince at the same time.
I like Jesus. I really want to learn more about his backstory, like his whole fighting, like how he fights like that. He's some kind of military trained, obviously, but that's even beyond military. That's like straight up CIA type shit, like the way he fights.
Not necessarily. It's like Taekwondo or capoeira.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be military. It could just be straight up martial arts.
I just wonder what he did before the apocalypse, What did he do?
Yeah, in the comics, I told you, remember, he's gay and stuff, so it's interesting to see if they're going to go that route in the show.
I guess
I think they will. I think they will. He kind of seems like he is. He almost seems like he is in real life, but that's good for him. But yeah, I'm glad that we remembered to do this episode. I've been so busy at work, I almost forgot, but that's going to do it for this week, so...
Last week was hectic. Thanks for tuning in. Any other questions, just... let us know.
Yeah, you can email the show at soldierfutureonlyshow@gmail.com. Make sure you turn into our regular podcast on Sundays and our Walking Dead ones on Mondays, and we will see you next week.
Deuces.